Does anyone know about the famous Chinese symbol yin and yang? You know, the one with the black and white semicircles? Yeah, well, do you know what it means? So I don't have an audience right now in front of me, but I guess I'll explain it to you. Yin is considered the female principle of the universe, which is dark and passive and cold, while yang is considered the male principle of the universe, which is seen as light and positive. These two principles have an impact on destiny. Despite that, in the Western culture, we interpret the yin and yang symbol as the good and bad. You know, opposites like Superman and Lex Luthor. So you with me so far? The color black is supposed to represent all the badness in the world, while the color white represents the goodness in the world. I know, right? Think about how many times you've seen that in movies, I don't know, TV shows, social media, but always thought black meant bad and white meant good. What else do you associate with white? Your white friends? How about the color black? Most likely your black friends. It may not be the first thing that pops into your mind, but I know it pops into mine. Whenever I think of white, it goes from my friends, my white friends, to white roses, to happy weddings. And then when I think of black, most likely my crazy black friends, to my, I don't know, my pajama pants that have Batman on them. So you're probably wondering why I'm talking and talking. I'm probably boring you, I'm sorry. But first let me ask you about these biased statements. Ever wonder how much they affect kids? Your little brothers? How about your little sisters? Those cousins and nephews and nieces you have? And even why the breakouts of crimes in poverty-struck neighborhoods? How many times have you seen a black superhero in your lifetime? How about a black Disney princess? Ever wonder why you see really fond Asians with them chinky eyes, uncomfortable near black people? I know I sound racist, and I apologize.
With poverty, there are higher risk of crime rates, pregnant teens, high school dropouts, and food stamps. But do you ever think about those in poverty, the ones who actually refuse the food stamps because of their values? I think there are two types of people in poverty. One type is those who depend on the government. The ones who trade away their food stamps for drugs. And it's the wrong way to help them get back on their own 2 feet. These people abuse the system. They also benefit off of other people's hard work. You can compare them to the E-Wells from To Kill a Mockingbird, and you would still find similarities. The other type are the ones who actually work hard to provide food, shelter, heat, and water for their families. They are the ones who believe in being self-sufficient, independent, and that you can be successful no matter what background you come from. And they are the ones who take action to change their own reality. They aren't the ones to cry, moan, and wail because of how they live. No, you know what they did? They worked. They are the ones who values resilience and workmanship.
So this guy named Kenneth Clark, he was a social psychologist. He's well known for the study called the Clark doll experiment. All you probably don't know what that is, so I'll explain. So this took place in the civil rights movement, or during the civil rights movement, I should say. The study involved children under the age of 5, both male and female, descendants of African Americans, and native-born Americans, so white people. This experiment helped the Brown v. Board of Education case in 1954. It proved to the court that the separate but equal schools were far from that because they weren't equal in practice. So they discovered this with the results given from the experiment. So both black and white children were given or were asked a set of questions and given 2 dolls. These 2 dolls were exactly the same. The only thing different about them was their skin color. One was colored, black, and the other one was white. So the questions ranged from which doll do you like best and which one would you rather play with, to give me the doll that looks more like you. The sad part was, when Clark asked the colored children to point at the bad child, they all pointed at the colored child. And then when asked which doll looks more like you, they pointed at the colored doll again. Think of how sad that is. Think of, I don't know, your brother, your little brothers, your little sisters, pointing to themselves and saying, I'm the bad child, I'm me. It's like, you don't want them to think that way, but kids are thinking that way. So the doll study basically proved how biased environments affect the way children think and how they view other people. Are people still biased today? Yes. Do they raise their kids that way still? Hell yes. So, name a black superhero. Want to know the first thing that pops into my mind? It's DC's, what was it? Green Lantern from the Bronze Age. He was created 43 years ago, which isn't that long whatsoever. You're not interested in superheroes? Fine. Name me a black princess. Guess when the first black princess came out? Disney created their first black princess in 2009, which was like 5 years ago. Her name is Princess Tiana. She's from The Princess and the Frog. But think about it. Is that right that we took so long to get rid of that biasness inside of Disney? I mean, we all love Disney. It's just morally wrong. So we all know what color is mostly associated with villains. Black. What about superheroes? White. So what do you think children think when they see this? They're like, oh, I get it. White means good, and black means bad. They also tend to be quite smug about it too. Is this really what you want to be teaching your little cousins? How about your little siblings? They live with you. Is that really what you want to be teaching them?
Moving along, there is a generation gap between the younger and older generations. Each generation has its own belief systems that are set aside from the rest. That being said, every generation rebels in somewhat against the previous one. In the past, there was a lot of racial disparities existing. Although over the years there has been a rapid culture change resulting in a more diverse society. In America, reconstruction of inequality within races has been underway. Since 2000, there has been a huge increase in minority population. Recently, there has been a greater influx of immigration. Many families move here and try to preserve their culture while adjusting to their new environment. Some of the culture norms and values may or may not be passed on depending on the individual. Today's parenting is different from just a generation ago. It is more universal due to the blend of worldwide cultures as well as ethnic background. America is classified as a multicultural society, second to none. However, coming from this country, people develop fear and easily give into stereotypes. These stereotype beliefs are passed on to their children, which in return affects their way that they think. Parents have huge influence on their children's beliefs and how they view other people. Children are a product of our environment. A positive role model is important in the upbringing of a child, no matter race, creed, or color. A prejudiced environment at home can taint a child's mind and how they view the multicultural world we live in. Furthermore, Native parents also have many special customs that are handed down. The old Native families would live closer to one another and share responsibility of raising children. They participate in giving valuable life lessons and are able to teach respect for their own particular culture. That being said, children weren't really exposed to other cultures besides their own. All in all, people have different opinions stemming from the environment they grew up in.